Hello, in this short video we're going to have a look at the factors that we want to take into account when we come up with the categories for grouping either discrete or continuous data. The example that we're going to have a look at here is discrete, but the ideas apply equally to continuous data. Okay, so have a look at the example we've got in front of us. So we've got a class of 20 students. They've all sat a test which has been given a mark out of 49. So we've got one bright spark's got full marks at 49, but we've got a range of other values for each of those 20 students. Most of the values are different, so we've got two values here at 38, so two students got the same score at 38. If I were to plot those in a bar chart, it would look quite boring. I would have 18 lots of 1 bar heights and 1 bar at 2 high, and then a whole bunch of zeros. It looked pretty dull, it would take me a long time to plot, and it wouldn't give me much information about the distribution of my data. So I want to group my data, I want to put it into categories. What I've got in front of me, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 possible ways of grouping my data. So for option A, first category 0 to 10, second category 10 to 20, 20 to 30, and so on. What I would like you to do, in a minute, I'm going to tell you to pause the video, but not just yet. I want you to think about those 6 options and think which one you would pick and why you would eliminate the other 5. Okay? So have a think about which one of those options you would use and why you get rid of the others. This is, you can either put, once you pause the video, leave it on screen. It's also available as slide number 3 in your pack. Okay, so pause your video now. Okay, you should have come up with the option for one of these 6 options. If you haven't done that, pause the video, have a think through, work out why you picked one, why you got rid of the other 5. Okay, so I'm assuming you've done that now. Right, I'm going to talk through why I'm going to get rid of some of these, and the value I'm going to start with is this value up here of 10. Let's have a look at option A. So option A, first row, I've got 0 to 10, all the values, all the scores from 0 to 10. Second row, I've got all the values from 10 to 20. So my value 10, I'm not quite sure where I'm going to put it, because it fits in the top line and it also fits in the second line as well. So I've got what I call an overlap. 10s, and similarly with my 20s, and so on. I don't know where to put that bit of data if I've got a value of 10 or 20 or 30. So this option doesn't work for me. I don't want any overlaps in my data. If I stick with my value 10, have a look at option F, I've got 0 to 9 and I've got 11 to 19. So where's my 10 going to go? It doesn't fit in the top one because it only goes up to 9, and this one starts at 11. So it doesn't fit in either of those. So this one has got gaps. So I don't want that one either. Okay, so this one had an overlap and this one had a gap. They don't work for me. Let's have a look at option D. So this one here, let's look at how wide my categories are. This one here, I've got 0 to 19, so I've got 20 width, including my 0. I've got 20 to 29, so that's 10. 30 to 39 is 10. Then 40 to 59, that's a width of 20 as well. So I've got different widths in my bars. When I'm grouping my data, especially when I need to put it into a bar chart, I want equal widths for my classes. So this one is no good to me. Going to get rid of that one as well. Let's have a look at option C. This one's looking pretty good. So I've got 0 to 4, 5 to 9, 10 to 14, 15 to 19, 19 to 24, or it was looking okay. I've now got a bit of a overlap here. Up until then it wasn't doing too badly. I hadn't got gaps there and I hadn't got overlaps. It was starting to look okay. However, what have I got? I've got, look at all these categories. If I plot those, I'll be there till Christmas. Also, most of them are only going to have 1 or 2 scores in them, so they're going to be pretty small. It's going to look a pretty dull graph, and it's not going to tell me very much information about the distribution of my data. So too many categories, going to get rid of that. I also had that overlap as well. So I'm left with 2, and to be honest, I'd be quite happy with both of those. So if you opted for B or E, give yourself a pat on the back. In preference, I'm going to go for B. I'll explain why that is. Option E we haven't got anywhere to put 0. If I look at my data, nobody got 0. They all managed to score some marks. So it's not actually a problem. I could actually plot all of those, I get my bars, and I get a sensible graph. But if I'm being picky, I haven't got anywhere to put the 0, so it probably pushes me more towards B than E. And one of the little things slightly in favour of B, if I have a look at my 20s, I've got a value of 20 here, then all of my other 20 values are in this category. Similarly, I've got 30, and then all my 30s are down here. If we look at this option, I've got 10 to 19, all of my 20 values are in that category, all of my 30s are in that one, and all of my 40s are all grouped together. So by preference, I'd probably go for B, but I'd actually be quite happy with E as well. Right, let's have a look. What have we used then? So to choose appropriate groups, the classes must be the same size. Yeah, I don't want ones where I start one with 20, one with 10, one going back up to 20 again. All need to be the same size. All 10, all 5, got to be the same size. I want to group them so I've got a sensible number of classes. Rule of thumb, 4 to 6. So 4, 5, 6, all good. Sometimes you get away with something smaller, sometimes it makes sense if it's a little bit bigger, but broadly 4 to 6. If you're plotting 10 or 12 bars, you've got way too many. I need no overlaps between my classes, no overlaps and no gaps. So it's really important that we know exactly where the data goes. There must be a home for every bit of data, and we can't be any uncertainty as to which one of two possible groups you could fit into. Last thing that I want to talk through is inequalities. We had a look at this earlier in the year. We had this double inequality. So we've got x sitting between the values of 10 and 20. So just a quick reminder on how this works. If I cover the left hand side up, I've got a strict inequality of x less than 20. So I'm looking for the values of x that are less than 20. If I cover the right hand side up, I've got the values where 10 is less than or equal to x, so all the values where x is greater than or equal to 10. So I've got those values of x, they're sitting between 10 and 20, so it's all the values in the middle. But I want to, because of this inclusive inequality, I want to include the value of 10, but I don't want to include the value of 20, it's strictly less than 20. So when I'm putting my groups together up here, I've got 10 less than or equal to x, strictly less than 20. The next category down, I've got 20 less than or equal to x, less than 30. So if I've got my value 20, it doesn't fit in the line at the top because it's x strictly less than 20, but it does fit in the second category. So 20 less than or equal to x, which is less than 30. So we've got that value 20, fits in the second row, doesn't fit in the top one, and I've got no ambiguity, no uncertainty as to whether I need to put it. So when we've got our continuous data, we're often going to see these double inequalities, but we're going to get one of these inclusive inequalities that includes the value, and then the other one will be a strictly less than. Sometimes you might see them the other way around, sometimes this might be the strict one and this might be the inclusive one, but you're always going to get one of each, and you want to use the same one consistently. So all the way through these groups I'd have the less than or equal to's on the left, or all of them on the right hand side. You never mix and match within your groups. Okay, what I'd like you to do now is pause the video and have a go at the exercise, follow the instructions in the email. Thank you very much.